as a community, schools, what can be done to help encourage and support kids to make that choice to be substance free? So we're aiming at schools,
Mm-hmm.
community, adults. What would that look like, as you reflect back over the past several years? And be like, actually, as I've either looked at my life or I've seen my friends, this would be helpful to them.
Transparency.
Again, like
Yeah,
being honest about it, especially
exactly.
within like your own household. Like the parents give you your first perception of the issues. So like especially in the household, then being honest about it, and then when you come into like the school setting, maybe have people who actually had those issues talk about it, and not just like, oh, don't do it, it will ruin your life.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't think I've ever actually heard someone talk about it from a first-hand perspective.
I have never heard it like that before, and I really like that, because now that I think about it, like whenever Dare would come into school and everything, it was just like cops like threatening you, like
don't do it,
time.
It will ruin your life. Don't do all these bad stuff. You end up in jail. You end up dead. Versus be like, I want to hear the success stories. I want to hear it sucks, but you can turn your life around. Because I feel like being able to recover from it is more important than, because like we already have decent prevention of it. It's the recovery of the people who are actively doing it that I feel like is more important at this current moment.
Yeah, because they have the real world experiences and everything. I feel like I never actually heard like any of those stories, other than like whenever I joined like the Teens Teach. Like I feel like I was hearing a lot more about like what it did to the person's life and how they handled it and where they are now. It's like I don't know. I really like what you said, because I didn't even think about that. But yeah, like whenever you're growing up, it's just like don't do it. But like my parents were never like that. They were like, I mean, you can do it if you want to, like make your own mistakes, but like you probably shouldn't, and here's why. It's like I don't know. I definitely think being transparent is like a huge selling point, because I think that's honestly what kept me from even leaning towards doing any of that kind of stuff, is like understanding the lasting effects it has on you and understanding what it can do to your future. And your future doesn't include just you either, because like I plan on having kids, I plan on like being married and everything. So I feel like me putting myself in that position right now, I'm making it a possibility for my future, passing it on to kids that I want to have someday. Like it's just kind of definitely something that you want to think about.
There's a movement in the smoke-free, and it's smokers. I think real smokers tell their stories, and it's the fallout of people who smoked for 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, whatever it was, and said, well, I smoked and this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, there's some kind of gnarly stuff that takes place for people who are using tobacco. And I know there's kind of a growing realities, more of like grassroots programs that have those same kind of things with nicotine and marijuana.
There's a lot of things online about it. I follow a couple influencers. One was an alcoholic, and then now she's completely turned her life around. And then there's another who was a drug abuser. And I love hearing their stories. Because like I never got that bad, but someone who is that bad, I feel like it would give them hope.
I also feel like that's a good example too, is that like I feel like today we have so much, like there's so much influence in creators and like people on like Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, like all those things. And so like whenever they like tell their stories and they like understand the lasting effects, they've either gotten out of that or they're like really really headstrong, or like a lot of like influencers parents and stuff, like I don't know, I feel like seeing that growing up is also like really really good examples, just because they really tell like real world experiences. And that's somebody that you look up to growing up. I mean, like I used to watch a lot of YouTube, so like it's like if you watch somebody that you respect and that you like want to look up to and they're talking about that, then it's more appealing, I guess.
Yeah, my little sister I think got an iPad when she was like 6.
Yeah.
So I think like I definitely believe like whatever like they watch and they see people do, like monkey see monkey do. Like whatever they watch, they'll think, oh, that's fine. Because like kids that some kids that grow in the households of substance use think that's fine. Like my parents did it, and then there's some that like realize, like you I'm trying to word this right. So like you dabbled in it, but then you realized, hey, that's not me. That's not right. And I love you for that, because you realized like you were like You thought it was okay, but then you realize, no, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not honest about it, it will just keep being this silent battle for other people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, am I sometimes ashamed of my decisions? Yes. Would I go back? Probably not. I've made a whole bunch of new friends because of it. My life has been 100 times better because I did the thing I wanted to do and I realized, oh wait, I should not have done it. Like, definitely at some point I'm probably going to be like, oh, that was so incredibly stupid of me, and I have been at that place. But I was like,
but it made you.
It could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah,
it made me who I am today. I can't say too many negative things about it because it's like
you did it. And
I did it, and I don't regret it. Like, I obviously do regret it, but I don't. I don't regret who it's made me become.
Yes, there you go.
Yes,
Mm.
And I feel like that's very good.
Well, I think that's maybe the reality when you think of life in the greater terms is some of the greatest challenges that you face. You wouldn't necessarily want to go back and live it again, but to erase the thing is erasing who you are, and it's actually walking through those difficulties of saying, okay, that wasn't good, but because I went through that, I'm like, no, don't go there. And I think part of the power then, and it's what's neat about having different backgrounds here, is you get to see people who have experienced it and say, you see people who have had families who have experienced it, you go, you have people who have just said, I just stayed the heck away from it. And I'm saying, So to have that kind of diverse voice then, and hopefully this then can be something that reaches not only to the community, to adults, but can reach into your younger peers' life and say, hey, we were here in some way, shape, or form. Learn from the wisdom of the sages who have come before you.
I definitely, because I will, be open about my family. Like, I remember I used to be really hush-hush about it because I was embarrassed of, my dad's, I didn't meet my bio father until I was about 10 years old. And that was because he was locked up. He also did not believe I was his kid. Little trauma there. Don't mind that. But, I was really hush-hush about it because it's I see the perfect, families, they look perfect. I can never say
they're not
perfect. And
from someone coming from a perfect family.
Coming from someone who had, that image that it was this happy family, the mom, the dad, the 3 kids who are all, they go to church every Sunday, they are involved in all these family events. It's not as perfect as one
they just assume that
some families are, but not some of them.
I feel like every family though has their problems though, because I mean I didn't have these huge backstory, huge traumatic events that happened in my life, but I did have little things that definitely still affected me, and my family is far from perfect, but it's I don't know. My family it all works together for me, and I feel like it's definitely made me who I am today and who I want to be. So
because it's I definitely want to be there for people that are struggling, and because I know there's some people that somewhat went through the same childhood that I did, and it's I want there to be there for them and be hey, if you want to dabble in it, it's not great to do, but if you want to see what happened to them, sure, but don't. If you can avoid it, I would say avoid it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of in the range of where I work. It's what a lot of people refer to as harm reduction. Is well, the ideal is don't do it.
Yeah,
that's
do it.
That's
don't
what we're
it.
aiming for. Don't do it. But different people will find themselves at different steps, and somebody will go back to nicotine. Somebody may find themselves in as a hard user, and just to say don't do it. Well, yes, that's where we want to get to, but we may want to be thinking about, okay, well,
let's take steps.